I normally wear glasses, so it's a bit blurry for me, but I figure I don't need to wear glasses while I'm just talking to myself. Anyway, I'm back up in this piece with my 52 weeks of cult cinema. Now, this film, Spontaneous, it was released in 2020, so um too early to say, as I did in my description, whether you can classify this as a classic. I think it's got all the hallmarks of a cult film. Um, this is the third time I've watched it in like 2 years, I guess. Haven't heard much about it. Kind of came across it by chance on the old Netflix, but um, it is, yeah. It's. Is it a great film? It's a really good film. Um, as to say whether it's great, um, maybe time will tell. I mean, it's one of those films that, like, really, especially without knowing anything about it, it just slaps you in the head and makes you wish you could see it for the first time again, just so that um, those moments come at you fresh and things. And it's a little bit disappointing knowing that things are going to happen and stuff, and you know when the beats are going to drop and whatnot. But nonetheless, look, it's kind of like a I don't know, I haven't really watched a John Hughes film for a long time, but it's definitely got the feels of a John Hughes film, and just like an absolutely the performances are wonderful. The main character Mara, played by the Australian actress Catherine Langford, is just I mean, firstly, she's amazingly fetching. Um, she were an adult when it was made. She plays a teenager, but she were an adult, so I'm allowed to be admiring of her her enormous strength and beauty in this film. You know, and Charlie Plummer. I don't know if he's related to the legend Christopher Plummer, what his back story is. I've only seen him in one other film, um, Words on Bathroom Doors or whatever, which I didn't really like, but I might watch it again. But yeah, that wasn't so good. This film was directed by Brian Duffield, a younger director. Also made Cocaine Bear, which I haven't seen. Which realizing that he directed this makes me kind of interested in what he did, and also another film called No One Will Save You, which I started watching with starred um that actress who plays the lesbian girl in Booksmart. I can't think what her name is off the top of my head. Um, but yeah, Spontaneous. You know, it's a teen film with a twist, I guess. Um, and obviously filmed, I believe, in 2019. Um, it's a Canadian production, which um, is only there's a couple of references. There's a reference to Cronenberg in there, and at a point, at a memorial, somebody sings a Leonard Cohen song, which is I think that's super Canadian, because obviously Leonard Cohen, may rest in peace, was a I don't know if he's Quebecois, but definitely that's a shout out to the Canadian roots of this film. Um, and yeah, I mean, look, it is in many ways quite a conventional. It's conventionally told, but the narrative and the whole storyline is very much of a type that um, would be more for the quirky types to really get into, I guess. And as I say, it's got that young love teen comedy vibe about it as well, which as a hopeless romantic, I'm always um, touched. And plus, deals in a pretty interesting way with kind of themes of grief and anxiety and almost life during wartime type of vibe, I guess. um and yeah, it's a film that I will definitely come back to again and again, um but not as often as some, I guess. um and as I say, it's one of those films that um I definitely recommend. And I guess um because it really is a one of those films that really hits you in the head the first time you see it. I try not to spoil too much, but I guess I'll go into the story a little bit, as much as I can without uh completely. If you don't want to hear about the story, I don't know how you do it. Just kind of jump forward until I'm done. But basically, it's about a teenager, Mara, who's in a cohort of seniors at her school who start spontaneously combusting. And after the first event, a boy, Dylan, who has a crush on her, kind of has that what the fuck moment and reaches out to her and kind of charms her uh, in quite a funny way. She's like, yeah, send me dick pics. And he does, but not in a way you'd expect, I guess. Anyway, her best friend, I can't remember her name, but she's a lovely actress portrayed by Haley Law. Um, Kind of reminds me of Amala Epinobi, um, but really great performance from her. And so basically, yeah, they kind of it's this whole situation where one student spontaneously combusts, and then more do, and more and more. And finally, the authorities are brought in, and Mara's kind of put on the case to find, the authorities think it's drugs, and she goes off with the school dealers, and they end up spontaneously combusting, and then all of the students end up in quarantine and trying to find a cure for it. Um, and they think they finally have, and it kind of gets stalled out. And then there's a massive event where all these students pass, and during this time, the relationship between Mara and Dylan's growing, and it's really quite sweet and things. It really captures that first love type of um, atmosphere, I guess. And then yeah, everything goes to hell, and the love is cut short, I guess. And Mara kind of loses herself in grief, and then um, binge drinking and whatnot. Um, and then I guess sort of comes to terms with things um, through different ways, I guess. Um, and then their prom is turned also into their graduation, and there's this great kind of Spartacus, I'm Spartacus type of scene where she says, it's all my fault, and then everyone starts saying that, all the girls start saying that it's all their fault and things, and yeah, it finally ends um, with her leaving, and kind of saying fuck it and stuff. So, um, as I say, with these descriptions, obviously, I'm not doing it justice, but I mean, a teen comedy drama about spontaneous combustion. What's not to really like? And may also say that the performances of her parents, played by Rob Hubel and Piper Perabo, who was a bit of a cult figure back in the day of the teenage comedies, is a bit of a throwback, and yeah, they're lovely in it. And look, it's for a film that's that's so kind of um confronting in some ways, and look, a lot, it's not really graphic. It's, I mean, it is in some ways, in as much as a lot of the spontaneous combustions are kind of occur off screen, but some of them aren't. And as I say, it's not graphic. It's just like, splatter, blood splatter, mist kind of things. But there are moments in it that are quite harrowing, I guess. Um, which are kind of balanced with like such a key performance by Catherine Langford, um, as this like quirky, comely type of just that classic, that classic female heroine of teen films, kind of like Haley Steinfeld in Edge of 17, or like um, Grace Moretz in I can't even think what, I don't even know, like If I Stay, I don't know, but she definitely has a similar uh it's really weird. Um, to be honest, when I was watching it, she kind of reminds me of the YouTube streamer slash pornographic actress Siri Dahl, who I have a I have a funny connection to. If you want to look up the Siri Dahl Catfish Chronicles, on my channel, it's a playlist, and it explains that. But yeah, there's definitely a similar personality trope coming through there. Um, and yeah, look, it's just a really um, it's a really sweet, moving film. As I say, about young love and I guess youth in crisis. It's almost like a fantasy, and it's strange, as I say. It was released in 2020, made in 2019, and it's almost not really a premonition, but like it's it really fits in with kind of COVID cinema, I guess, of like life, um not arrested. What's the word? Life being kind of waylaid or disturbed by uh, bizarre occurrences that kind of make people question, what their life's about. Their privileges, their assumptions about the future, all these kinds of things, which I guess was really thrown into question by what happened in the last 4 years, 5 years of our lives. Um, lots of a fair few references. References to like Back to the Future and 80s music. A little bit of pot smoking. And but mostly, I think. I don't know how teenagers are now, but um, maybe teenagers are always the same, no matter when they grow up. But for me, it really does capture that um, that classic kind of portrayal of young people, um, which is, thoroughly enjoyable. Um, and also, yeah, what else is there to say? Um, it's just a really nice film. And I definitely hope that it becomes a cult classic. As I say, these days, films don't really fall into that unless they're explicitly going for that um, market, and maybe they don't even do that anyway, like, The Greasy Strangler or whatever. But, um, yeah, as I say, I don't really prepare these videos. It's just a bit of a rambling about films. Um, So yeah, if you're in for a teen film with a lot of heart, but also kind of bizarre and a bit subversive and things, um, those scenes where she falls off the wagon and gives into binge drinking are just amazing. And as I say, like this is really a film carried by that lead performance. And yeah, I mean, Catherine Langford, she was in Knives Out. She was in that show 13 Reasons Why or whatever. And also another one I can't think, but she hasn't done much since then. So I mean, I hope to see her more on screen, to be honest, because she really has that thing, whatever it is, um, she really falls into her performance in this film. Um, and as I say, Brian Duffield made Cocaine Bear. Was that a good film? Was that a cult film? Maybe it will be, maybe it won't. I don't know. I'll definitely feel more inclined to check it out now that I know that he was behind this film. So anyway, this is just a shorter video. Um, nobody said hi this time, which is a bit different. I've had a few people commenting and whatnot, but there's been a few people. So um, let me know your favorite cult films if that's what you're into, and if I've got them in my collection, I will endeavor to view them. Um, in the last video, I said I was going to watch Screwed, but then I popped the tape in my player, and the bastard ate the tape. So I've downloaded it on. I've paid for it on YouTube, so I'm gonna watch it at some point. But I'm afraid when I can only watch films on my phone, um, off YouTube, so it's a little bit disappointing. But I'll get around to that. Um, Next on my selection, I'm staying in the vein of teen films, and I shall be talking about, I believe, 1987 classic 3 O'clock High. So that's coming up next. Obviously, these will all just come in and whatever, but I like to talk about what I'm going to talk about next. And yeah, thanks for watching, and highly recommend Spontaneous if you've seen it before. Um, and obviously, feel free to talk about these films if you have an opinion on them, whether you think that this is a future classic cult film or whether you think it's just a kind of curiosity or something. Anyway, thanks for watching or not watching, whatever you are, wherever you are. Have a good evening, day, and all that. And I will catch you when you catch you. And remember, if you get angry, you're doing it wrong. Cheerio. Peace to the lovers. Bye bye.